something, there's meaning behind it. And so my mentor, the Queen Code, I don't know if anybody knows Melissa Crawford in the audience here, but she's a phenomenal mentor, and that's one of her concepts. And it's a lot of different business coaching concepts that they, especially spiritual coaches,
right?
And she brought that to that's part of her framework. What she talks about is be, do, have.
Okay.
And so we all go through our journey doing something, chasing something.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, is this what? Because that's what I was doing. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I've been in the military 24 years, and this is what I love. That's why I'm here 24 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
My father was in the military. I wanted to follow his footsteps and be a drill sergeant.
Okay.
That never happened. So I was never a drill sergeant.
Okay. Okay.
Because I had fears that I wasn't good enough to be a drill sergeant. So then there was other things that I explored that I was good at in the military. I started doing.
Okay.
But that wasn't enough. So I kept chasing promotions. I kept chasing achievements.
That's good.
Thinking that it was defining who I was, and it wasn't. Like everything that I wanted to do was dormant, because once I joined the military, all the stuff that I wanted to do, I left behind, because now I'm doing military lifestyle.
Focused on that, right?
And it started to come back. It came back. It was like, okay, there's more to this. There's more. And so at one point, I just felt like I was chasing. But what is the meaning behind it? And so I really had to really dive into that. And that's why I give you that. Whatever the thing is that we want, whatever it is that we do, become, or have, what is the meaning behind it? Because if there's no meaning behind it, what are we doing it for? There's no purpose behind it. What are you getting out of it?
Wow, that's good.
For you, for the individual.
Right. That is so good, because like you said, sometimes, oftentimes, we're chasing things because either that's, something that somebody else said that we should go after, or, it could be something that we want to go after too, but maybe it's not even time for that yet. Like there are so many different reasons why we might do something that doesn't necessarily fit, like what we're supposed to be doing at that time. But like you said, if it keeps coming up, if it just feels like I have to do this thing, then that could be a sign that that's something that we need to go back to. I want to read the quote that you submitted for the book, and then I would like for you to explain, just kind of the meaning behind that quote and what exactly, or just how that resonates with you. Okay, so your quote was, "Don't be afraid to speak up and express yourself. There's bravery with self-expression." So can you take us a little bit deeper as far as, just what is the energy behind that quote?
Yes. So I wanted to share that because a lot of times, depending on who you are, some people feel judged by what they look like, what they sound like, but their status and things of that nature.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean? And so with that, the people that are around you, sometimes you may feel as though you don't have a voice, or your voice doesn't matter. In actuality, it does, because as soon as you open your mouth and there's meaning behind it, again, everything we do is intentional. It's not just rambling.
Right.
That same thing that you say can actually touch a heart of someone and can actually change their life or save their life. And so that's why I said it's so important for that self-expression, because at one time I didn't have it, or I didn't feel like I had it, and I had to regain that confidence back, because it was like this for me throughout my career. Okay. Because of individuals that I've been around, or personal experiences and things of that nature, and a lot of negativity. But again, it goes back to the mindset framework. For me, I had to go back into digging deeper, and sometimes I wasn't coachable. I was like, no, I'm trying to do everything on my own will and not relying on God. And I'm just like,
That's
but
good.
it's so important for that. And so that's why I say that, the self-expression, speaking up and sharing your words, your thoughts, because it has meaning and it can actually, it's valuable, and I really mean that. I have more in it. I know it was too long to give you, but it was a longer quote. But in a nutshell, it was,
That's okay.
it was a self-reflection of me, of my younger self, speaking to my younger self, that there's bravery in speaking up, because when we speak up, there's a lot of things that come to that. Like, what does that mean to me? It's different for you. To someone that's in this audience, it might be something. You may want to speak up against domestic violence that you're going, that you don't want to talk about, or sexual assault, sexual harassment, or diversity inclusion that's not in your environment, that needs to be heard. So it's those type of things, those social issues or other issues that matter, that you're concerned with, but you're afraid no one's going to hear you.
And that is so good, because many of my audience knows that part of my testimony is, for years I grew up with a speech impediment, and so for years I have been afraid to speak. And it's been crazy, because I love to talk, and I always pray, like, Lord, why would you take, like, the very thing that I really enjoy and love doing most, and make it to where it's not perfect, to where I always felt subconscious about it. So just dealing with that over the years, especially like throughout my college and my high school years, there have been times when I've wanted to say something or to speak up in a group setting. It could have been in school, and I didn't. And I didn't realize until later on, even into like my adult life, how that really affected my voice. Because then I was just hesitant to speak what was on my mind. And I knew that God, he would give me different ideals and different things to say. And I knew that in my mind, what I had to share was meaningful or could help something or someone or a situation. But because of my past experience of, thoughts coming in, like, if I say something, they're going to laugh, or it's going to sound stupid, or like, those were thoughts that were going around in my mind. And then it made me hesitant to speak. And then that really played on my self-esteem. So I love that you included that quote, because no matter, how you get your message out, I don't care if there's somebody who is deaf and they're doing sign language, like, what I'm saying? If you have a speech impediment, like how I had, and I still have, but, I've gotten strategies now that can help me through those times. But whatever that somebody feels like is the reason why they can't open their mouth and they can't speak what's in their heart, their truth, your words, I hope, resonates with them, that just do it. Like, you're going to touch the people who you are meant to touch. And like, you don't have to worry about, is it going to be perfect, or, is somebody going to think a certain way? Just do it. Just do it. So thank you for that quote, because I know I've had personal experience with it. And so, like,
can I say something else too?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just like I just got something that sparked what you just said. That people actually grasp more when it's imperfect. Because that's where that's where people can read the real from the fake.
That's good.
And so when you're trying so hard to make something perfect, people are like, okay, what? So you're actually, the imperfect is what is really going to draw them closer and understand and really get it. So don't be afraid. Everything is the beauty comes into with the imperfection.
Y'all heard it. That's the life coach talking, y'all. Take heed. Take heed. Okay, and so as we mentioned before, many people just kind of go through the motions, more so than they realize. Like, how do I find my purpose? It's one of like the top searches on Google. So many people are stuck in this cycle. How important do you feel it is for people to actually seek out what their purpose is?
Oh, it's vital because it's pretty much your livelihood. Some people tend to not know what their purpose is and end up getting all caught up in things that don't serve them,
Right.
meaning crime and everything else, because they don't know what their purpose is, and they're seeking it and trying to find it, and they're all in the wrong communities and in wrong areas, or making the wrong decisions that could have been different if they would have just the time to look at that. So to me, it's part of your livelihood. It's part of who you are, your DNA.
Love it. And like you said, it doesn't serve. I don't know why just that little part just hit me. But if you're listening to this and you're doing something that isn't serving you, take a look at it, reevaluate it. And Anita, I mean, this might be kind of getting off onto a side note, but just to kind of unpack just that little part. How does
Mm-hmm.
somebody know if something isn't serving them?
So let me just give you an example. I give you
Okay.
my personal example.
Okay.
So at one point in business, okay, when I first started business, I was doing strategies that I was getting trained to do,
Okay.
from coaches.
Okay.
And uh, it had me in circle. I felt like I was on a hamster wheel, just
Okay. Okay.
doing stuff with no like purpose behind it. But it was like, oh, because someone said I should do this, but that doesn't mean that's what I need to be doing,
Right.
And so I felt like I was just doing that, and then again with that, I was spending less time with my husband. I was
Mm-hmm.
getting stressed, no sleep,
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary. This is like unnecessary stuff I'm putting on myself,
Mm.
because again, doing the shoulds of what somebody says that works, but it's not really wasn't designed for me,
For you.
for my business, or at that time,
Wow.
what I really needed. So I had a lot of nights where I was stressed and doing a lot of busy work, and I was doing stuff that really wasn't serving my family, like my husband. I wasn't really spending the quality of time that I should have with him, because at
Right.
the end of the day, I'm in the military too. So I have a lot of my time with that, and then I got to go
Right.
home, and so
Right.
I was pretty much at a moment doing things that really wasn't the right model for what I needed at that time. And so it brought up a lot of unnecessary things, and I would just say
Wow.
my self-care was the main thing that was the issue.
Love it. Love it. And that makes total sense. Total sense. Because it would seem like when you're not doing something that's aligned with what you're actually placed on this earth to do, there's going to be that disconnect. Like there's going to be, it's just how like when if you're rolling like a screen door or something that's on a track, if it gets off track, it can't move as fluidly like your patio door. Like if it gets off the track, you can't move it. And I think that's how our life is, like when we are actually living in and doing the things that we were created to do as part of our purpose. Then I mean, yes, you're gonna have bumps and bruises. That's just that's life. But at least you will feel like there's more of a harmonious kind of like sync and motion to life, and things won't feel like they're being neglected. So I love it. What piece of advice though, Lenita, would you give someone who is actually struggling to find their purpose? Like if they're just like, well, you know what, I never thought about it, but maybe I'm not living in my purpose. What would you tell them as far as maybe how to, how to find it, or what would be your words of advice?
So my words of advice would be, first would really, they're asking this question to really honestly take the time and take a step back, like really take a step back and just
Yes.
self-reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And that self-reflection is different for everyone. I don't care what it might be, an hour a day or whatever, depending on your work schedule. I don't know what your work schedule looks like, but
Right.
it's finding that sacred hour for you and really self-reflecting and saying, what is it that I want? You
Mm.
know, what do I desire? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? You
Mm-hmm.
know, what lights me up? The key is what lights you up.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, like what is it, that thing that, like, oh my God, it's like this fire, this, every when you think about it, it's like it just brightens your day. It's like, oh my
Right.
gosh, what is that? Because
Mm-hmm.
those things are going to be clues for you to
Yeah.
actually figure out what it is. But you have to know what you love.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and
Mm-hmm.
then what is that thing that lights you up? Because the thing that lights you up is not going to be everybody else's. It's
Right.
yours. You know what I mean? It's
Ma'am.
yours, and just know that on the journey, it's not going to be an easy path. You're going to have some rockies. You're going to, it's
Right.
exploration. You got to explore. Explore, see what works, what doesn't, but really take the time to find out what is it that lights you up. Because some people leave it dormant. Like for me, it was dormant for a lot of years because I was so busy my military lifestyle that the things that I truly love doing,
Right.
I forgot about it.
Right. And I loved how you said to, just try, like, just explore, because and I know, like, you help people with perfectionism, and I know sometimes, even for me, I had to kind of get out of feeling like if I start one way, I have to work it until it works out, and not leaving myself that freedom to say, okay, well, I can try this, and if it doesn't, if I don't feel like, if it fits in with who I am, it's okay to move and to explore other areas. So I'm glad that you said that, because I know sometimes, you know and I'm better now, but there was a time when, if I started something, I'm going to finish it. I don't care if I'm not happy. I have to see it get done, or whatever outcome I was going for. So I'm glad that you said that. And then also, that what you said kind of segues. I just want to let anybody who's popping on here know. Well, first of all, we're talking with Miss Lenita Cornett. If you're just popping on in, wait for the replay. Go back, check it out to hear all about her background and what we have talked about so far. And it's actually amazing, and I know that the Holy Spirit is in this discussion, because a lot of what she is talking about and confirming is in the book, guys, and we didn't talk before the book. It was all just what I felt in my spirit that God was leading me to put on paper, and then God led me to ask her to include a quote that was in her spirit, and that aligned perfectly. So if you want to check the book out, you can go to bit.ly/order H2M. That's the book, Heart to Mind, the Purpose Seekers Devotion and Prayer Journal. But so, Lenita, why do you feel like there are so many people walking around who just like never find what their purpose is? Like they just don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a lot of factors. I mean, a lot of it goes back to your upbringing, as far as your family,
That's good.
who's inspired you, who's motivated you. And sometimes it doesn't have to be family, directly family. It could be someone else. And
Mm-hmm.
through those individuals indirectly, that'll spark something in you to where that's what you want to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so for some people, they may not have had that based on their upbringing. And so they may find it more difficult to really find what their purpose is, or they may have had it once before, but then some other issues may have happened to where you have those mental modes or that mindset to where they're stuck in that space of what happened and they can't move forward from that.
Wow. That's
So
good.
that's just my take on why you have so many that are in that situation. And I'm a believer, and I truly believe that spiritually, um, that's part of your identity.
Yes.
Your self-awareness. And if you have that disconnection spiritually, then that's where you're going to have an issue as well. And you don't have to be a specific religion. Spirituality is not the same as a religion.
Right.
But with spirituality is knowing that there's something bigger than you, and that power in that. And when some people don't believe in that or don't believe in anything, that's where they have a disconnection.
I believe that too. And I feel like, in this day and age with social media being everywhere and with so many people looking at social media, or with so many people being able to portray whoever they want to be on social media, those who might already be struggling with like confidence issues or just self-identity, they're looking at people on social media with some of these fake personas, and they're judging their own life, or they're comparing their life, to those who they see on screen. And then I think then sometimes it's easy to try to go after what they see other people doing, and thinking that, well, if they're doing that and they're successful, well, then maybe I should do that too. And like you said earlier, that might not be, what is cut out for me. But because you can look anywhere and just see, all kinds of examples of people doing things, I think it could be a distraction. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, social media can be a distraction to where it really encourages us to look outwardly and look at everybody else versus just really being in tune with our own individualized lane, so to speak.
I've been there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, I've been, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's been really, my self-confidence has been very rocky.
Okay.
I'm good. The next thing you know, there's another peak, something happens, a great thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, and I get tested again. And so the next test was when I started in business. It's like, okay, how can I not get this right? I'm in the military, I'm successful, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and what's wrong with me over here? So I was just like so critical of myself.
Okay.
And just like you mentioned, I'm watching all these coaches and influencers and saying this is how you get this and this is how you get that. And, and it's like, okay, well, that's not necessarily what I want.
Right.
I want to be successful, but not that way.
Right.
But looking at them, you're like, okay, there's something wrong with me. Am I supposed to look like that? Or, you know what I'm saying? And so I was very judgmental of myself, where it actually had me going in circles, put it that way.
I gotcha. And and I want to kind of put a little bit of not of a different spin on it too, but I just want, if anybody is listening to this, I want you to know too that even if like you see somebody doing something that their path, it might not be your path, but if it's something that resonates or sparks within you that you see in somebody else, that might be an area still that God might want you to operate in. It might not look the same as somebody else. Am I right, Lenita?
Yeah.
Like, I've come to learn that for myself too. Like, I see different aspects and different people that I see for myself. Now, their journey of how to get there is, that might not be mine, but I think that's something for us to key in also on, is if you just to pay attention to, like you said, what ignites, like what is that spark that you see out here in the world? What do you naturally gravitate to?
I can tell you, I'm glad you said that, because like when Oprah, like, remember when Oprah, when she was still doing her talk show, when
Okay.
she started doing like master series, like master classes dealing with spirituality, and then she
Yes.
started the Super Soul
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
When she started that, that's what really, like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. I want to do something that's dealing with spirituality
Yes.
and identity, and it was just that right there. I was like, oh my gosh, that. And so it was just something with that idea that she actually did and started creating. And I love her Super Soul Sundays. But it was when I saw that like sparked something in me, because it was like, oh my gosh, I got inspired just by that.
Right. See, love it. Love it. So, we already kind of dealt with, like, you spoke on if you felt like faith and spirituality influences or is related to purpose. Do you have anything else that you want to say about that? Any new thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel that, because being spiritual, you believe in something that's higher than yourself.
Right.
And then having the faith, you actually believe it. You don't have to see it, you just know. And then that's where you have the intuition. Like, God gives us all, like it doesn't matter what your religion is. I'm a believer, okay? But God all gives us all of it, intuition. We all have intuition. It's if you hone in on it.
Right.
That intuition is going to be that nudge. It's going to be, but it all goes back to knowing. That's where the faith comes in.
Yes.
And so, yes, I do believe that, because a lot of times, especially those that are very keen with their spirituality, they go more with their intuition, and that's where it guides them into what their purpose is. Some people, it takes them a longer journey, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's your life's journey, but that's what it, I feel like it's connected together. Yes.
Love it. Love it. Do you feel that purpose has any influence on success?
Oh, yes. I mean, because when you think about purpose, it's intention. There's goals behind it. There's an objective. So my success may not be like someone else's, but I do believe that it's connected to success. Yes.
Awesome. Can you give us a name, or is there someone who you admire, who you feel like is really rocking it out with their purpose?
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah. For real. Like,
I think if people actually really watch me, you could probably tell that she's like my indirect mentor.
Okay.
I've like followed I followed her since she started the TV show series. Okay. And then, like, when she started doing her own network, so I would definitely say Oprah Winfrey. And because when there's something that she has that awareness, if she knows there's a need in something, she's going to look at what it is and she's going to go for it and she's going to do it. And that's what I've really admired about her, her quality. She's just that leader, that, she's that cultivator. She's going to get you to, she's that communicator, she's very clear with, and if it's something that she doesn't understand, she's going to ask the questions, and she's not afraid to ask questions she doesn't know. She's inquisitive. She brings different perspectives, and not just one-sided. It's different perspectives from so many different people, spiritual leaders, executive leaders in business. And so that's what I love about her.
Hopefully Oprah hears this broadcast and she gets you on her. And we'll be seeing you interviewed by her or Gail, one of the two on that.
I know.
Oprah, if you listening, we love you.
I know, right?
So, girl, do you feel like there's ever a time when like somebody is just too old to just go after their purpose? Like, it's over, I don't live my life. What do you feel?
This is just my opinion. I feel like as long as you're on this earth and you have breath, you should always want to learn. Once you stop wanting to learn, it's when you die. A piece of you dies.
Love it.
And then all of you die. That's just my perspective on that.
Love it. And I totally agree. I mean,
Never too old.
But say it again.
Never too old. Never too old.
Never too old.
Have breath.
And I'm thinking about, and my husband knows more. I think her name is Ernestine Shepherd. I want to say she's in her 80s, and she started, I think, in her 60s or 50s, but she's like a bodybuilder. And she is like, I mean,
50s.
cut. And in her 80s, like six pack. And like that just goes to show that, well, one, like you said, like you're never too old. If you just, like, you know, if you have breath, if you have a mind, if you're capable. And if, you know, if we really look at a lot of the successful just entrepreneurs, people in the world, you know, like the Bill Gates and I don't know, like some other ones. A lot of them didn't start, you know, really. Let's see, who was it? I can't think of them specifically, but it's somebody who is a million, like a multi-millionaire. Like they didn't start to create that product that got them their millions until they were like in their 50s or 60s. Like, you know what I mean? I want to say it's I'll have to research, but yes, like, you know, they might have gone several years trying and exploring different avenues, but if they would have stopped in their 40s and just said, you know what, it hadn't worked yet, I haven't hit my $1 million ideal, I'm just gonna, then, like, you know, when they turn 50s or 60s, then, and, you know, and that motor company picked up their product or whatever, then they might have missed out. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I totally agree that, I mean, you know, as long as God is dishing out ideals, I'm going to be trying to make them happen one way or another. So any last words of encouragement, again, for, you know, just those who are struggling? Maybe they, like you said previously, they found their purpose, maybe life happened and they just kind of gotten off track. Like, you know, how should they go about now, from here on now, getting back on track? Or, you know, what kind of encouragement can you give somebody who's in that situation?
So I would definitely, can you hear me? I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay.
Yes.
Because my internet saying is instability or something like that.
You're good.
Okay. So I would definitely say for an individual that's having an issue is to really reach out to someone that you know, that you're inspired by or motivated by. It does, like I said before, it doesn't have to be a family member, but it could be someone that you admire and you just want to mentor. You know, reach out to someone, go to a supportive group to where they have mentors there, to where you can actually learn something new and explore and actually get that support that you need, because trying to do it on your own is going to take even longer than you actually going to someone, spiritual leader, you know, that's another resource. A teacher, you know, that's another resource to you, because I'm sure they have referrals too, but I would just say don't go on this road alone. It's going to be even longer if you're wanting to do it yourself. And it doesn't have to be hard, but really reach out to someone and say, hey, I need some help, I really want to do this. You know, maybe they can give you some referrals or lead you in the right direction, or maybe they can be that mentor for you. But never stop. But don't go on this road alone. There's someone out there to help you.
Love it. Guys, before I have Lenita tell us again where we can get more information from her, if, you know, if she said something that is really just sitting with you, and if you need help getting on track with your life goals, or just navigating, you know, just any aspect of your life, and you need clarity, to someone to help, reach out to her definitely. And then, you know, just see if it's something that she can help you with. Okay. But while I have her tell us where you guys can find her, I want you to put in any questions that you have for her. Anybody have any questions on purpose or about her and her business? Again, also, thank you guys who are sharing this broadcast out. I'm giving away 2 copies of my new book, Heart to Mind, The Purpose Seekers Devotional and Prayer Journal. Miss Lenita has her words of wisdom in that book as well. You can find her on page 17. But I'm giving 2 copies away to 2 people who share this broadcast out. And if you already have a copy, if you've gotten your download, share it so that if you win the drawing, you can pass it on to somebody else as well. Okay, so any questions here? Thank you guys for joining. I see you guys. Thank you, Colette. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Auntie Mary. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you to all of my replay viewers. Thank you, Shalonda. Thank you, Tina. All right, so Lenita, can you tell us again what your website is, what your Facebooks are, just where all of your connections?
So I actually forgot to say this earlier, but I do serve business leaders, executives that are dealing with the hustle mode and reducing the burnout. That's who I deal with. So I know I forgot to put that in there earlier.
That's okay.
Business leaders, my definition of that, they're executive leaders in business, meaning they're CEOs, or executive leaders in enterprises, business or organizations. So that could be corporate, but they're in executive leadership positions or emerging leadership positions. So, and I focus a lot on the reducing the burnout, because with the burnout, you tend to lose sight of what's important, what really matters to you the most. Because time, to me, time, energy, and creativity are those are the 3 things it's important for, especially entrepreneurs and business leaders, because you have to be creative when it comes to problem solving. So I think that's very important. So I'm actually going through an overhaul right now on my website, but the website is the website domain is still the same. But I'm actually going through, so it's going through some work, but it is www.purplecamouflagementor.com. And so my Facebook is my name, Lenita Cornett. IG is I am Lenita Cornett. And I don't know if I can place the links in there, or I don't know if you want me to send it to you.
I mean, I can.
Okay.
In the comments.
And my Twitter is the same as my name. The only different one is my IG is I am Lenita Cornett.
Gotcha.
And I'm also on Pinterest. It's Lenita Cornett as well. I wanted to make sure I had unity with all of those. So I do have my business page. My business page is Tap Into Your Truth. With Purple Camouflage Mentor, and that's where I have all my services there as well, for those that are interested and want to learn more about me.
Okay, I will. I'll tag that in the comments. So Twitter, Facebook, IG, and Pinterest. And I love that you have the same name throughout all of your platforms. That makes it super easy to find you. Love it. All right, guys. If there's no
LinkedIn
questions,
too. I'm on LinkedIn as well. My bad.
LinkedIn. Yes.
I'm on every platform, pretty much.
Yeah, but that's how you do it. That is how you do it. And so you heard, guys, she is a coach and a mentor for CEOs and leaders. I love it. You're a coach for the coaches, a leader for the leaders. Amazing. Thank you again, Lenita, for taking your time out. I know that you're in school, you have your company, you have the army. You are one busy sister, but one powerful sister. I want to just let you know that I truly, truly, truly admire you. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you to be a part of my book project, was because I knew that you have substance inside of you, and that you could bring something that was meaningful to the project. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Time out to talk to us this morning with your words of wisdom. And I'm super excited to see where God is going to lead you and your business and all those who you help. Because I'm sure that, as you're helping those, you're pouring just a little bit of you into them. And I'm just excited, and I'm blessed that I'm connected to you so
Yes.
that I can watch this journey as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And we'll talk with you soon. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I love you. You're a blessing. I'm just glad that we're connected. We stayed connected
Yes.
since 2017. So I'm really looking forward to doing more projects with you and anything else. Anything, if you need anything, hey, I'm here for you. I love what you're doing.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. And we'll chat soon.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.